Hey guys, welcome to day 3 of my Minecraft world and my feelings, or Minecraft and my feelings. So if you guys weren't around for days 1 or 2, we kind of are just doing this thing where we're playing a day of Minecraft a day, you know, one, uh, one Minecraft day every single day, and just kind of talking about life. Because I think it's important that we talk about what's going on in life more than what I do already. Um, Today was been kind of okay. Yesterday was fine. It just had a lot of stuff that kind of happened that, recently disagreement with a friend was one of my close friends, and we're not really friends anymore, which is definitely hard. And it's kind of, again, like I was saying earlier, there's always a constant reminder about how life sucks all the time, which I don't like having to deal with, life when it's always bad. Not that life's always bad, but there's a lot of times where it's kind of just like, what's going on? You know? I don't like to deal with that. I don't like to live in uncertainties. And I know we talked about that a lot yesterday on how life can just be so uncertain all the time, and sometimes it just makes it really hard to do anything, which is true. It's definitely more difficult for me to want to do anything in life when there's so many uncertainties. But, other than that, today's been good. We made our first ever Minecraft short, our first Minecraft short in a long time. I had a Minecraft short series about a year ago with a friend that I really liked, and then we stopped being friends for personal reasons, and I kind of just gave up for Minecraft content then, because it was a little bit just too painful to think about everything. But now I'm obviously, making Minecraft content again and doing this series and doing, I started doing a couple shorts. I did my first short today, and probably it's been a minute now. First Minecraft short, that is. And it went okay. I liked it. And I know we talked a lot about yesterday about feeling like a failure when stuff doesn't perform well, especially when it comes to YouTube. So now just trying to, especially with this series, obviously I'm not expecting it to get a lot of views. And just coming at it with an open mind of like, hey, you're not doing this. I used to be a person that I'd sit back, and if I saw my video only had, 10 views or whatever in the opening bit of time, I'd just delete the video and repost it later, or just never post it again. That's how I used to kind of do everything. And now I'm trying to get in a better mindset of like, hey, this didn't do great, but it's okay. You enjoyed making it, and you're talking about something that you hope that in the future you can go back and look at. And, as long as there's that, I'm always going to want to keep doing what I do. Because like I said, I really enjoy making content. It's like my favorite thing to do. And it gives me a lot of peace. It's just that there's a lot of parts of it that are hard for me, for sure, because I don't always know what I'm doing. So a lot of it is just kind of winging it, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it can be frustrating sometimes if stuff doesn't go your way. And that's just life, having to remember that not everything's always going to go your way. And that's just how it is sometimes, which is fine. It is what it is. But it's just having to always, remember that it's okay to not be okay, or to not be the best at something. You're very rarely ever going to be the best at something. And so, if you're able to do something you enjoy, and you're able to just do it for fun, or able to just do it because you want to, it's definitely worth, doing it. I think there's too many people in the world that just do things that don't really bring them joy, and they don't do enough things that bring them joy. I mean, my friends are this way, my family is even like this at times, where it's like they're doing stuff that they don't enjoy, and I don't really know why people are, always doing things that aren't for them, if that makes sense. It gets really confusing to me personally, because it's like, why would you ever do something that, you don't enjoy? Like, it's just weird. I couldn't really imagine. I mean, obviously we do things we don't like all the time in life, but trying to remember to try to do things for yourself every once in a while, like, that's another big reason why I'm doing this series is it's because I want to do something that I'm not necessarily, like, the best at or super comfortable with. Like, I promise you guys, it's way easier for me to sit back and do War Thunder content. You know, post videos that I know are going to get thousands of views. You know, it makes me more money. It grows my channel more. It feels way better to sit back and look at, you know, a video and say, oh my god, look at it. It's got thousands of views. Than it is to sit back and go, you know, you talked about your feelings and this video only has 20 views. And that's just life. I'm obviously not doing this sort of content right now for attention. More or less just doing it for myself to sit back and talk to you guys. And obviously, I mean, if it were to get popular, that'd be a plus. But at the end of the day, I want to do something for me more, and not doing something that's necessarily for attention or for not necessarily attention, but for clout, if that makes sense. And that just obviously is easier said than done. I know a lot of people would much rather look at something and go, I'd rather do the thing that gets you more views and gets you more subscribers and gets more popularity, but also being able to do things that are, you know, is not the best or not the greatest thing for you to do. Not that this isn't by any means good. I enjoy it. I think I enjoy it. You know, it genuinely does make me happy to make content, you know, for the most part. Obviously, there's, like everything, it has its pros and it has its cons. But it can kind of just be, you know, life is never going to always be 100%. You're always going to have things you don't like to do that you kind of just have to do. Because you can't always be comfortable with every single thing you have in life, if that makes sense. Like, obviously, you're not going to always like what you're doing in life. And trying to remember that is definitely more difficult than I'd like to admit. You know, life always has pros, it always has cons. Overall, I think I've been doing a lot better this week than I was last week, but I'm definitely not okay. And I think I'm always reminded in life that every time someone asks me how I'm doing, I'm always saying I'm fine. Or I'm saying it's good, it's whatever. But, you know, nowadays, kind of just being more or less like, it's okay to not be okay. And trying to remember that it's been more difficult than I'd like to admit. Like I said, life has its ups and it has its downs for sure. But I've been doing a bit better. How have you guys been doing? I mean, I know, like I said earlier, I like to hear how you guys have been, you know, because I do care. And that is another thing that does end up biting me, I think, in the long run, is I care too much about people. Which, believe it or not, is definitely a real thing. You know, if you give 110% on everything you do, like I do, it kind of can be to a point where it's like you're just burnt out of everything. And I don't really like to be burnt out of stuff. That isn't a happy feeling, you know, to be sitting down and trying to enjoy something and it just being super overwhelming constantly, if that makes sense. I know a lot of you guys, you know, like I said before, everyone has their own thing. So I know a lot of you guys are going through the same stuff, or at least very similar, where it's kind of like, you know, you're trying your best, but it's not good enough. Because I get that 100%. You know, it gets very tiring of giving 110% and not receiving 110%, or not getting out of yourself 110%. That is super frustrating. I know it's frustrating because I've been through it so long in my life. You know, times in my life where it's like, I try my best, and my best just simply isn't good enough. That is the most frustrating thing I actually think ever, when you're giving your absolute best and it's just not good enough. Because there's nothing you can really do to fix that, you know. You either have to come to terms that you're not good enough, or come to terms that, you know, then you just kind of get into the mindset, was I ever good enough? That's kind of, I guess, where I'm at nowadays in life is, am I actually good enough to do what I want to do? Am I actually, you know, okay? Is it really okay to not be okay? If that makes sense. And I personally don't really know the answer for that. And I'm kind of, this episode kind of flew by. I mean, there's the sun setting, and last sucked. The sun is setting on day 3, episode 3. That's kind of a fast one, but I guess that's just kind of how it goes. 10 minutes always seems to fly by, but I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 4. Let me know how you guys are doing down below, and remember, it's okay to not be okay, even if we don't fully get that. I'll see you guys tomorrow.